الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين المدد رسول المدد ما شاء الله ما شاء الله فاز شاء الله. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إذا تنخم أحدكم وهو في المسجد فليغيب نخامته ولا تصيب جلد مؤمن أو ثوبه فتؤذيه. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki, biriniz mescitteyken balgam çıkardığı zaman bir başka müminin bedenine veya giysi şimdi eskiden mescitler bizim bu şimdiki gibi değil. O vakit kumdu yerler, olduğu vakit yere tükürebiliyordu da, ama onda Peygamber Efendimiz orada başka mümine değmesin diye dikkat etsinler diyordu Peygamber. Bu mescitlerin edebindendir de onun. Şimdi tabii o şeyler olmuyor. Olan da işte var, mendil var, bir şeyler var. Temizliğe dikkat edin diyor Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
This hadith is dedicated about the good behavior in the masjid, and in former times the masjid did not used to be the way they are today. The floor of the masjids back then were bare grounds. It was just sand, and our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that when you are in a situation where you need to spit saliva, make sure that it does not touch your fellow believers. Now today the floors are no longer earth or sand, and now they're handkerchiefs, and if somebody needs to spit saliva, they can use their handkerchief for that purpose. But back then things were different.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إذا دخل أحدكم المسجد فليسلم على النبي وليقل اللهم افتح لي أبواب رحمتك، وإذا خرج فليسلم على النبي وليقل اللهم أنا أسألك من فضلك. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki, birinin mescide girdiğiniz, yani her şeyin bir edabı var. Mescide girdiği vakit Peygamber
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, continues to speak about the good behavior in the masjid, and he speaks about the good proper behavior when entering the masjid.
selam etsin.
And when you enter the masjid, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that you should recite peace and blessings upon the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Selam getirip ondan sonra Allah bana rahmet kapılarını aç.
And then you shall pray, after having recited peace and blessings upon the Prophet when entering the masjid: O my Lord, Allah Almighty, open the doors and the gates of mercy to me.
Bana rahmet kapılarını açma diye dua et.
O Allah, open the doors of mercy to me. This is how our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, recommended us that when we enter the masjid we should show proper behavior by first reciting peace and blessings upon the Prophet, and then making the prayer and ask Allah Almighty to open the doors of His mercy.
Etsin. Mescitten çıktığı zaman da Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem getirip
and when you then leave the masjid, you should again recite peace and blessings upon the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Allahümme lütfundan bana ihsan et diye duasını.
And then when you leave the masjid, you should also again ask Allah Almighty: O my Lord, Allah Almighty, please grant me from your divine favors and from your divine gifts.
Çıkarken de girerken de dualar makbul olur Allah'ın.
And when entering the mosque and when leaving the mosque, it's the moment when the prayers and supplications will be heard, and when they are in a state of being most acceptable.
Peygamber Efendimiz'e salat selam getirince daha da güzel oluyor.
And they become even more worthy, and they become even more acceptable when entering the mosque and when leaving the mosque, and when making these supplications. If one then recites peace and blessings upon the Prophet, peace be upon him, upon entrance and upon when leaving the masjid, then these supplications and requests become more worthy and more acceptable.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إذا دخل أحدكم المسجد فلا يجلس حتى يصلي ركعتين. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki, biriniz mescide girdiği zaman 2 rekat namaz kılmadıkça oturmasın.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that when you enter the masjid, you should not sit down without having performed 2 rakats of prayer.
Yani bu tahiyyatül mescid, selamıdır. O 2 rekat kılmak sünnettir.
It is recommended, and it is the tradition of our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, upon entrance of the masjid, to perform tahiyatul masjid and to show proper respect, and to perform 2 rakats of sunnah prayer when entering the masjid.
Ama burada da şimdi namaz vaktine girmiş insan hepsini birden yapabiliyor. İlk başta abdest sünneti, tahiyyatül mescid, ondan sonra bu vakit namazını aynı niyette olur o da.
And when it's prayer time, you may perform all sunnah prayers in one go. So you may perform the 2 rakats for having taken your ablution, and then you may perform 2 rakats for having entered the masjid, and then you may continue with performing the sunnah prayers of the obligatory prayer that follows.
Aynı hepsine ayrı ayrı sevaplar kazanmış oluyor.
And by doing so, and by practicing these sunnah prayers, you will be receiving the rewards of each individual prayer.
O Peygamber Efendimizin de emri de yerine gelmiş oluyor.
And by doing so, we will have fulfilled the order or recommendation of our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him.
Başka vakit yani namaz vakti olmadığı için o da gene abdest sünneti, mescid tahiyyatı, abdesti varsa tahiyyatü mescidde 2 rekat kılması lazım.
And again, besides the prayer times, it's still recommended then upon having taken the ablution to perform 2 rakats for sunnah prayer for having taken the ablution, and when one enters the masjid and one has the ablution, it is recommended to perform 2 rakats of tahiyatul masjid and to perform 2 rakats of sunnah prayer upon entrance of the masjid.
Nafiledir, kazançtır.
These are voluntary prayers, and they will be the means for you to obtain blessings and rewards from Allah Almighty.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا دخل أحدكم المسجد فلا يجلس حتى يصلي ركعتين وإذا دخل أحدكم بيته فلا يجلس حتى يركع ركعتين فإن الله جاعل له من ركعتين في بيته خيرا. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki biriniz mescide girdiği zaman 2 rekat namaz kılmadıkça oturmasın.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, reiterates the importance that upon entrance of the masjid you should not sit down without having performed 2 rakats of tahiyatul masjid and having performed 2 rakats of prayer.
Yani mescide giriyorsun, bir şey bekleyeceksin, vakit gelecek ya vakit girmemiş. O vakit 2 rekat namaz kılıp ondan sonra otur, zikrini yapacaksın, Kur'an okuyacaksın, namaz vakti bekleyeceksin, onu var. Öteki tür.
So when you enter the masjid and it's not prayer time yet, and you may then perform 2 rakats of tahiyatul masjid, perform 2 rakats prayer, and then you may sit down, and then you may wait for the obligatory prayer and the prayer time to come. You may then recite Quran, you may do dhikr and wait for the prayer, but when you enter the masjid and before waiting for prayer, should first perform tahiyatul masjid and perform 2 rakats of prayer.
Burada dediğimiz gibi hem vakit girmiş, ezan okunmuş cemaat var. Hemen 2 rekat abdest sünneti, tahiyyat mescid sünneti ve öğlen niyat, ikindi ne zaman gelirse onun sünnetine niyet edip hepsinin ecrini alır.
And if it is prayer time, you may still perform these sunnah prayers. So if it's, for example, time for dhuhr, you have completed your ablution, you may enter the masjid, perform 2 rakats for having completed ablution, then you may perform 2 rakats for having entered the masjid, and then you may perform the 4 rakats of the sunnah of the sunnah part of the zuhur prayer, and then you will be receiving the rewards of each individual prayer.
Biriniz evine girdiği zaman 2 rekat namaz kılmadıkça oturmasın.
When you come home, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, you should not sit down without having performed 2 rakah.
Ve de gene aynı şekilde eve girdim akşam, o vakit kerahat vakti olmadıktan sonra onu da 2 rekat kılması bereket olur.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that it will be a blessing for you that when you come home in the evening, for example, that if it's time for, if it's not a time where you cannot pray, that you may perform a prayer of 2 rakats upon entering your home.
Çünkü Allah o kişinin evinde kıldığı 2 rekat namazdan dolayı onun için bir hayır kılar. Yani
And Allah Almighty will then provide you with His blessing and His divine favor for these 2 rakats you perform when entering your home.
hayır kapıları açılır o insana.
And then Allah Almighty will open the doors of goodness and blessings for you.
Evde de huzur olur.
And there will be peace at home.
İyilik olur Allah'ın izniyle.
And there will be goodness at home by the will and permission of Allah Almighty.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا وجدت القملة في المسجد فلفها في ثوبك حتى تخرج. Mescidde bit bulduğun zaman onu dışarı çıkarıncaya kadar giysinin içerisinde sar. Mescidde öldürme. Yani o bit falan ne varsa onu dışarıda, yani mescidde bırakma çoğalmasın diye. Onu da hem dışarıda öldürmek daha iyidir. Yani dışarı atma diye onu dışarıda da öldürürsün.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that when you find a bug inside the masjid, you should take that bug, preserve it, and take it outside, and you should not kill it inside of the masjid.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أعط المساجد حقها ركعتان قبل أن تجلس. Peygamber buyuruyor ki oturmadan önce 2 rekat namaz kılarak mescidin hakkını veriniz.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you enter the masjid, show proper respect to the masjid by performing 2 rakats before sitting down.
Her şeyin bir hakkı var. Mescidin de hakkı o 2 rekat namaz. O hak sana fayda olsun diye Allah Azze ve Celle vermiş.
Everything has rights, and the masjids have rights too. And the right of the masjid is that when you enter the masjid, you should show proper respect to that masjid by performing 2 rakats before sitting down.
Tavsiye etmiş. Yani emir değil de şeydir bu, çünkü nafile olduğu için isteyen kılmaz ama
this is of course not an order, this is not obligatory prayer, this is voluntary prayer, and it's up to everyone to decide whether they perform this prayer.
O hak olsun diye, fayda olsun diye onu Peygamber'e tavsiye etmişim bize.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, recommended to perform this prayer when entering the mosque as a blessing and as a means of receiving goodness for us.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن لكل شيء قمامة وقمامة المسجد لا والله وبلا والله. Şüphesiz her şeyin bir çöplüğü vardır. Yani evin çöplüğü var, dükkanın çöplüğü var,
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that there is a dump for everything. There is a place for putting the garbage in the home, in the shop.
Çöplüğü var, şehrin, kasabanın her bir çöplüğü var diye.
And a town, a village, they all have a place of garbage and putting its dump.
Çöplüğü de, mescidin çöplüğü de hayır vallahi, evet vallahi gibi sözlerdir. Yani
and the dump and the place of garbage of the masjid is when people say and swear in the name of Allah Almighty and say yes and say wallahi or say no wallahi.
Orada bu boşa yemin etmek, o da oranın çöpüdür yani.
To swear in the name of Allah Almighty for nothing and for no reason is garbage.
Bir faydası olmayan şeylerdir.
It is something that is not useful.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم البزاق في المسجد سيئة ودفنه حسنة. Peygamber sallallahu gene buyuruyor ki mescitte yere tükürmek kötülük.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that it is bad to spit on the floor of the masjid.
Yani dediğimiz gibi şimdi o kumdu, toprakta o mescitler.
And as we said, this makes sense in former times because the floor of the masjids used to be earth, it used to be sand, and people would use to spit, and our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, said that it is bad behavior to spit on the floor.
Bir de o zaman insanları kültürler değişik oluyor.
And people there in that region in that culture, they had a different way of life.
Onlar Bedevi çölden gelmiş. Her tarafa hatta abdest bile bozan olmuştu camilerde.
And the Bedouins there, they had different way of life, and it was normal for them to spit on the floor, and they would even answer the call of nature inside the mosque, and there were even occasions where there were people urinating inside the mosque.
Mescitte onun için yani bu tükürük fazla kötü sayılmıyordu ama Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem diyor kötülüktür yani.
And to spit on the floor or on the ground, that was not something considered to be despicable back then in that culture, in that region, but our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, teaching us proper behavior, said that it's not good, it's not proper good behavior to spit on the ground.
Mescide eğer tükürmek, onu gömmek ise iyiliktir, sevaptır.
And he said that it is a blessing that even if one spits on the ground, to cover it with earth and ground.
Diyor. Yani görürsen onu toprağa gömersen sana sevap yazılır.
And if you see someone spitting on the floor and their saliva on the ground, there will be reward in covering that saliva with earth.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم البصاق في المسجد خطيئة وكفارتها دفنها. Peygamber Aleyhisselam gene buyuruyor ki mescitte yere tükürmek günah.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, goes further and says that it is a sin to spit on the ground inside the masjid.
Kefaret ise onu gömmektir.
And to make up for that sin is to cover that saliva on the ground with earth.
Yani bu Peygamber Efendimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem söylediği zaman yani bu en yüksek edep, en yüksek insanlığı öğretiyor Peygamber.
And this is just an example of how our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, teaches us the best of character, the best of behavior, and what it means to be civilized.
Peygamber Efendimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem yani o zamanın şimdiki sırf Arabistan'da değil, melekler bu güzel koku, güzel buhur. Şimdiki buhurlar tabi buhurdan başka her şeye benziyor. Onun eski güzel buhurlar oluyor. Zeytin yaprağı falan gibi o ya iyi olanlar, onlar melekleri sevindirir onlar diyor Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that nice perfumes or nice buhur that is spread in the mosques will please the angels, but what is being applied today, it is anything than nice perfume. There are natural perfumes that can be spread in the mosque, like the leaves of olive trees, and those nice scents, those beautiful buhurs will please the angels inside the masjid.
Mescitlerde onu bir geçirip almak iyidir.
So there is a blessing, and it pleases the angels inside the masjid to apply buhur.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن المسجد لا يحل لجنب ولا حائض. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki şüphesiz ki mescit cünüp cenabet olan insana ve hayızlı kadına helal değildir. Onlar yani mescid temizlenmeden onlar mescide girmeleri helal değildir.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that it is not halal for a person who needs to perform the major ablution and for a woman who is in a state of menstruation to enter the mosque, to enter the masjid.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وإياكم وهاتين البقلتين المنتنتين أن تأكلوهن وتدخلوا مساجدنا فإن كنتم لا بد أكلها فاقتلوها بالنار قتلا. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki şu iki pis kokulu baklayı yiyip mescitlerimize girmekten sakının. Eğer mutlak yemek zorundaysanız onları ateşle iyice öldürün, pişirin. Yani bu koku veren şeyleri diyor Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that when eating, one should make sure that one does not eat things which have a strong odor, but one should cook them properly so that they no longer have a strong odor.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم تعاهدوا نعالكم عند أبواب المساجد. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki mescidin kapıları yanında ayakkabılarınıza bakınız ve pislik varsa onları yere sürterek temizleyiniz.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that when you are at the doors of the masjid, make sure that your shoes are clean, and you should clean and purify your shoes and what is underneath them if there is dirt by rubbing them on the floor to make sure that there is no dirt on your shoes.
Bu da gene temizlik babından Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem camiler temiz tutsun diye insanlara nasihat veriyor.
And this is yet another recommendation of our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, to make sure to keep the masjid clean.
Öğretiyor. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم تفقدوا نعالكم عند أبواب بالمساجد. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki mescidin kapıları yanında ayakkabılarınıza bakınız.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that before entering the masjid, at the door of the masjid, make sure that your shoes are clean.
Pislik varsa onları yere sürterek temizleyiniz.
And if there is dirt on your shoes, make sure to rub them on the ground in order to remove that dirt.
Yani onları dikkat edip de temiz olarak içeri alacaksınız, temiz olarak alınsın diyor.
And then when you take your shoes inside the masjid, make sure that you take them inside the masjid while they're in a clean state.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم المساجد مهور الحور العين. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki mescitleri süpürmek, yani camileri süpürmek hurilerin mehirleridir, başlık paralarıdır diyor. Yani o mescidi temizlemek büyük bir insana faydadır, sevaptır.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, mentions that to clean the masjid, to broom the masjid, will be the dowry of the huris in paradise, and this hadith is yet demonstrating the importance of cleaning the masjids clean.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أكل ثوما أو بصلا فليعتزلنا وليعتزل مسجدنا ويقعد في بيته. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki sarımsak ve soğan yiyen kişi hem bizden hem mescitlerimizden uzak dursun, evinde otursun. Bu Peygamber Efendimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem bunları yemezdi ama
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that when you eat garlic or onion, you should stay at home and not come to the masjid.
ümmetine de men etmedi.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he would not eat those. And but eating onions or garlic, it is not something that our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, prohibited.
O tabi o vakit Peygamber Efendimizin olduğu yer en temiz, en güzel yer olması için, onun için bu şeyleri yememeleri tavsiye olmuştur.
So it is not forbidden to eat onion or garlic, but as we said, as our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, made sure that the masjid is clean. It should also be clean in its there should be no bad smell inside the masjid, so he advised to not enter the masjid after having eaten onion or garlic.
Sahabe, ama tabii şimdi artık ümmete mübahtır yani.
And so this is about making sure that no one is disturbed by a bad odor coming from onion or garlic, but it is not forbidden to eat onion or garlic.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم التفل في المسجد خطيئة وكفارته أن يواريه. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki gene mescide tükürmek günahtır.
Our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, says that it is a sin to spit on the ground of the masjid.
Kefareti ise onu gömmektir.
And in order to make up for that sin, one must cover that saliva with earth.
Yani onu kapatmak, üstünü kapatmak. Sadaka Resulullah fîmâ kâle kâmâ kâle. Ziyâdetin ilâ şerefin Nebi sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem ve ashabil kiram ve ilâ arvâh cemî'il enbiyâ'il murselîn khudamâ şerâ'îm ve ilâ arvâh a'immetil arba'a ve ilâ arvâh meşâikhina fi tarîkatin nakşibendiyetil aliyye khâssaten imâm tarîkatil gavsil halîka Khâce Bahuddin Muhammed Veysil Bukhari Seyyidina Abdülhâlik el-Rızvani Mevlâ Şeyh Şerafeddin Dağıstani Mevlâ Şeyh Abdullah Fâz Dağıstani Mevlâ Şeyh Muhammed Nazım Adil Hakkani ve sâir sâdâtin ve sıddîkîn ve men ahfâdâti ve civarîm Hüseyin Mustafa ve refakâ Hacı Mustafa Turabi cümlemiz geçmişler ruhları için, şehit şuhaların ruhları için. La Teala el-Fatiha.